Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Mull for Tuesday, the 24th of February. With McShane reading through Paul's first letter to the Corinthians, we read chapter 11 today, discussing Christian worship and the Lord's Supper. In verse 20, Paul says, "So then, when you come together, it is not the Lord's Supper you eat. For when you are eating, some of you go ahead with your own private suppers. As a result, one person remains hungry and another gets drunk. Don't you have homes to eat and drink in? Or do you despise the church of God by humiliating those who have nothing? What shall I say to you? Shall I praise you? Certainly not in this manner." And then a few verses later he says, "So then, my brothers and sisters, when you gather to eat, you should all eat together. Anyone who is hungry should eat something at home, so that when you meet together, it may not result in judgment. And when I come, I will give you further instructions." And as I read that, I thought, an early church wrestling with some of the issues that we still wrestle with today, where people have different resources, different backgrounds. And so often our thought was, I'd be surprised if the people Paul is speaking to were intentionally trying to make the poorer members of the congregation feel left out and marginalized. That probably didn't cross their minds, but it was actually the result of what they were doing. That as they gathered and they were having a lovely supper that they shared with their family and their friends, other people on the outside who had nothing were left out entirely. And it's something that has plagued the church since then. And I know that a couple of years back, I was aware of a church that was discussing that we should make everybody pay the same amount. Everybody must pay 50 Rand or whatever it was. And someone pointed out that for some in the congregation, the 50 Rand will mean absolutely nothing. They'll take it out of their small change. It's one cup of coffee less that they'll drink that month. Whereas for some of the other members of the congregation who were battling on a domestic salary and they're only working one day a week, 50 Rand in those days was about a fifth of their weekly wage. And for them, that was a lot of money. And so to just say everybody must pay the same is never right. And therefore, we encourage people to give what you can, give generously, but everybody will give something different. We don't treat everybody or expect everybody to pay the same amount, but we treat everybody in exactly the same way. And so that's what Paul ends up with. When you come together, make sure that everybody is included, that nobody's marginalized, and that you are all eating together, maintaining the unity of the body. And so that's a challenge that we face as a body, to make sure that everybody is always included. And it's a challenge that to us in our personal lives, to make sure that what we say and do doesn't inadvertently belittle and marginalize others, because sometimes it's not our intention, but it is a consequence of what we do. So we do need to be mindful of that, even as Paul challenged the church in Corinth. So love your neighbor, knowing that God loved us first, and we are blessed.